Good morning, everyone in South Louisiana. Welcome to another edition of Real Talk TV here on AOC Community Media. That's Cox 15 and LUS Channel 3 in Lafayette, Louisiana. I want to say good morning to everyone and salute the staff of AOC Community Media for doing such a fine job and keeping all these shows, not just the show I'm on, all the shows that we're part of. Today we're gonna jump right into it. We're going to deal with the whole situation with MAGA in South Louisiana. And how do you feel about MAGA? The number to call is 337-272-8849. This is Black Music Month. Also, we want to acknowledge that. Also, it's the month of Juneteenth. I have my Juneteenth shirt clashing with the green screen right here. We need to always support those entities that we really feel appreciated by, especially music appreciates us and we appreciate music. For instance, in this area, Southern Soul music is very, very popular. Is very, very popular, and we want to shout out to 803 Fresh for that Southern Soul anthem, Boots on the Ground. But people, we can't always look to entertainment as our escapism. We have to always go deal with these real things coming at us. And I'm going to try to outline some things while I wait on my guest co-host, Keith Falk, if he's listening and looking. We're waiting on you, Keith. We got so much to talk about. I want to go into a video while I still get things together. And I want to go into video about what's going on with the ICE agents, and hopefully we're not having none of that in South Louisiana. We see a lot of situation with ICE has turned into a Gestapo, Nazi type stuff. This is some real Nazi Gestapo stuff when people come to you in mass and arrest you and tell you, and you have no recourse to know who they are, because let me tell you what's going on, people. These people are deputized bounty hunters, white supremacist groups. A lot of them volunteer. A lot of white supremacist groups around the country have joined ICE. A lot of rogue law enforcement who can't get employment somewhere else. We have a few in South Louisiana might be working with ICE. You don't know. So no way of identifying these people, and you have a right. You have a right as a human being to defend yourself against someone who just approaches you and try to do whatever they're doing to you. And so check out this video right quick, and we're going to get right back to the heart of the show.
New allegations about how ICE is operating under the Trump administration. There is a new video that appears to depict federal agents detaining and using violence and injuring an immigrant father of 3 United States Marines. While this type of treatment, if it is unprovoked and out of context, is wrong in any capacity, certainly against protocols, possibly illegal, again, depending on the details, this has stoked extra outrage over this family because the 48-year-old Narciso Barranco was identified by one of his own sons, who said he was doing work as a landscaper when several masked men approached him, pinned him down, and then were beating him when he tried to get away from the treatment. Now, as always, the warning, the video is graphic. In those partial clips, the use of force looks excessive if he is effectively detained. His sons are American citizens and also served, as mentioned, and one says Barranco was pepper sprayed, beaten, his shoulder was dislocated, he had not received medical treatment for what they say were those pieces of results of the violence you see on camera, and they say that he hasn't got enough food or water after 24 hours in L.A. detention. A DHS official confirmed to the L.A. Times that Barranco is in custody, alleging that he, quote, swung a weed whacker directly at an agent's face and refused to comply. And they are describing at least part of what we saw on video as, quote, appropriate action that followed the agent's training. I'm joined by Maya Wiley, an SDNY civil prosecutor, human rights advocate, who also in the city of New York worked specifically on these issues in police training and alleged police brutality incidents. Welcome back, Maya. As always, I caution we don't necessarily have the full story in the video. From a policing and legal standpoint, the video looks bad, but we don't have everything that may have happened prior. With that said, based on what you see here, one, how do you view the tactics? And two, how do you view the concern from many experts and critics that under the Trump administration, it seems that ICE and other federal agencies are ramping up use of force or violence?
Well, Ari, I mean, you said it so well. It's impossible to look at this video and not be deeply disturbed and demand an investigation of the conduct of these officers. You're right that an investigation means an investigation. But look, we see a man on the ground, and as his son points out, 5'6" 5'7" tall, 150 pounds, and we see multiple agents. Many of them are quite large, and he quite clearly looks unable to create any harm to those officers. Now, that is one of the findings of fact that an investigation would undertake. Yeah. But everything we're seeing here is consistent with what we've heard from the Trump administration. Let's be clear. There has been an increased pressure on ICE agents, Border Patrol agents, to get their numbers up. And this is an administration that has a policing executive order that has quite explicitly said that they want to, quote, unquote, unleash law enforcement. I mean, every indicator that it's sent, including in its own executive actions, trying to create less accountability, is for ICE and an agency in the Department of Homeland Security that has iced out accountability, transparency, and oversight. This is, by the way, predates this administration. We should make that clear. This is an ongoing issue for civil rights and human rights advocates. But there's no question that it's escalating, and there's no question, I think, in many of our minds, that communities are literally being targeted because of how they look. That's also racial profiling.
Yeah, and immigration policy can often try to tell folks, hey, it'll be hard when you get here, or we're not going to make it easy to get benefits, or driver's licenses has been a debate. Those are policy choices. Walk us through why it is not acceptable or policy to threaten abuse, violence, what are potentially illegal acts as a consequence for being here in an undocumented capacity.
Well, it's quite simple, Ari, really, is we have a Constitution of the United States of America. And the Constitution is quite clear and quite plain. And the interpretation of our Constitution has been quite clear and quite plain. People have the right to process that is due. That means the ability to see a judge and to be determined whether or not there's action that can be taken against them. But no one, whether you're in a facility detained or on a street corner, should be treated violently. That is a violation of the Fourth Amendment. That can be a violation of the First Amendment, depending on whether someone's peacefully protesting or doing anything else. And, you know, we should remember, you also have a constitutional right to be treated well and in humane conditions when you are in detention. I mean, we are also hearing concerns about whether or not, and not just for Mr. Barranco, but for others in detention, including children, whether there's adequate heat, whether they're getting food and nutrition. So all of these are issues that our Constitution says, yeah, you don't actually get to treat people cruelly and unusually, and you don't get to take their lives or their liberty from them. And I want to make one other point quickly, because we're hearing that Mr. Barranco may not have gotten medical treatment. We've had 52 people die in ICE custody in detention because they didn't get adequate medical treatment between 2017 and 2021. We should be very concerned that anyone treated this way could be any of us.
There you go, people. You have it right here. You heard it on Real Talk TV. You got to ask the question, in South Louisiana, do the elected officials support what is going on? Do they support this? Whether they're Republicans or Democrats, we know we have a history of the Democrats being really, really weak when it comes to confronting these Republicans. And these Republicans are not the George Bush Republicans. They're basically MAGA branded people who believes everything that comes out of these idiots, racist, and corrupt people in the White House, and it trickles down to the other idiot in the Baton Rouge governor's mansion, Jeff Landry, from this area. So we have these people making all kind of laws, pushing all kind of laws that we have to deal with here in South Louisiana. I want to say also shout out to AOC Community Media. Please support AOC Community Media. Membership is roundup is up. You need to come and join AOC. You have a show. You have a counterpoint to what I'm saying. Come and defend your point. Come and inform the community. The last vestige of freedom, even if we want to believe in this American democracy, the last vestige of freedom is your voice, and also your physical presence. I say 40 million plus, and I'm a defender of black folks, and I'm not saying I want to be racist, but if you defending your race, you're not racist. You're defending your right to exist. And these people have thrown out all the norms. Even the Supreme Court yesterday, when they said they can disappear people to another third-party country. If you could take somebody from South Louisiana, put them in a van, put them on a plane, and send them to South Sudan or any one of the countries that probably is in disarray right now, then they're telling you you don't have any rights. So you got to stand on business, and standing on business is your human rights. Your human rights trumps any civil rights, so to use the word Trump. It's over any civil law, any criminal law that the United States or the world court could come up with. Your human right count, your existence count. Our young people need to know this. Know who your ops are. Know who's trying to hurt your grandmother, your uncle, your aunt. Your ops are not people who look like you. This is some petty stuff put down by these corporate companies that spins out media. Your ops are the people that's trying to hurt you. Remember that. Use your energy, young person, YN. Use your energy to help alleviate your people suffering in pain. And so I'm just saying, if you don't believe me, just go ahead and put on a vintage tape of Malcolm X. Don't have to listen to me. I want to run something else, another clip. Let's see what we could get to it right quick. Concerning how our concerns about the Social Security whole notion of Doge, whatever the hell that is, that came in and tried to mess with everything, and a lot of people now are complaining they can't use the website, they can't do anything concerning their updates of their accounts and so forth. So I want to play this clip from another progressive website just to give you the information,
America is basically in complete and total shambles because of the morons at the Department of Government Efficiency. Those teenage morons that Elon Musk put in charge of Doge have destroyed everything within the Social Security Administration to the point where it doesn't properly function anymore. The Washington Post points out that the website for Social Security for 74 million Americans, the website continuously crashes. And we do, of course, know that these little Doge idiots got in there and tried to update the software, update the computers, and that actually led to more crashes because they don't really know how to do those things. So that is 100% their fault. The servers are now being overloaded. Again, Doge's fault. And of course, we have millions and millions of people trying to call Social Security only to be left on hold for hours with no indication of when they're even going to be able to talk to a human being. The automated system that Doge put in place has completely fallen apart. So here's what the Social Security Administration, under the guidance of Doge, has decided to do. When you go to their website or when you call on the phone and you're trying to get in touch with a human being or chat with a human being online, they no longer show you wait times. They actually got rid of that feature because the times are so long. They don't want you to know how long they're going to make you sit there because they...
Wait, Jay.
Good morning. You live on
Jay.
You are live,
Jay.
Khadijah.
Jay, wait up.
You are live on AOC.
Jay, I want to ask you a question. You're
Yes.
not picking up your other phone.
Excuse me, sister. You're live on AOC. Call me on the regular phone, okay?
I tried that.
Well, you're on TV right now. My co-host is battling with me right now. She's getting ready for tomorrow, people. Okay? Call me back, sister. Wow. Wow. She know that's the call-in number. She know that number goes out. But, you know, she's just getting ready. She could be so tense tomorrow on the Open Line radio show on KIEE 88.3 FM. Sister Khadijah, you something else. But look, I'm going to go back to this clip about Social Security. Check it out, people. Check it out.
Fired everybody that was competent. So between the firings, the website crashes, the long times, and the server overloads, people are unable to get any information. People are unable to get in there and sign up. It is a complete and total shit show, to put it mildly. Now, it's easy to write this all off as the incompetence of Doge, right? I mean, that's what most people think. That's the obvious answer. Elon Musk picked a bunch of people between the ages of 19 and 22, and they don't know what they're doing. They're not smart, just like Elon Musk is not smart, but they got their hands on this and they destroyed it because they're dumb. But I don't think that's it. I mean, I do think they're dumb. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking that back. But this is more of a planned incompetence. Elon Musk hates Social Security. He has said repeatedly that he wants the program to go away. He has said that it is a Ponzi scheme, which it's not, because clearly he doesn't know what Ponzi scheme means. So he wanted it dead. And what better way to kill it than to intentionally put your dumbest staffers in charge of revamping it, right? You take people that you know don't know what they're doing, give them the keys to the car and say, go drive across country. And they get 10 feet down the road before they've wrapped that car around a telephone pole. He knew it was going to happen. They may not have, but he did. This was planned incompetence to try and destroy a system that Elon Musk, an unelected government employee for that time, hated. He hated it. He wanted it gone. And he is now using this, and the administration will use this to show people like, look, his system doesn't work. Clearly, Social Security is bad. We have seen this happen with government agency after government agency. This is how Republicans do it. They tell you an agency is bad. Then when they get in power, they break it to where it doesn't work. And then they're like, see, we told you it doesn't even work now. They just leave out the part where they are the ones who intentionally sabotaged it to prove their own point. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.
We're back here on Real Talk TV. I think we got another caller. We can accept this caller. Caller, welcome.
Yes,
Welcome, caller.
yes, welcome. I wanted to say another good program,
Mm-hmm.
And I also wanted to mention that we got a lot of horrific things that's been going on with this administration.
Right.
And not just the administration in Washington D.C., but also right here in the state of Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
Your governor They just got through from. They tried to pass the Ten Commandments in all
Right.
to make it placed in all the schools, and they just the courts kicked it out. So Liz is kind of like really
Right.
disappointed. She claims she's gonna go ahead and bring it to the lower court. But you know what pisses me off so much about that is that they're gonna go to this court and get all the research that they could find, but y'all not paying for this. This is coming out of tax-paying money. You know, this is tax-paying money. Tax-paying citizen money. You know, so of course you could be the pit bull. Well, if this don't agree with me, I'm gonna go to the next stage. Each stage you go to, you have to pay.
Right.
This is tax-paying money.
Right. Right.
And then another thing I wanted to mention about Cuckoo Lulu Trump, how he trying to cut something off from money from the veterans.
Right.
I don't know well, I do know you know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, here's what people need to know. Caller, Sister Khadijah. You people who are veterans, and you know a lot of them, sister, and you work with them. Good people. I met them. They actually help push that stop the gun violence. Why wouldn't you want to help groups like that and individuals who serve their country? Why wouldn't you? So here's what the Trump administration directive has went out, even though they denied. You know, he's a liar. He's a proven liar. He lies a mile a minute. He's saying the directive says that if you are a Democrat, a registered Democrat, or a Democrat, and you're not married, you won't be able to be served by those veteran service companies, and even the VA medical platform. This is so outrageous, and given what they have been doing now, using the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court just ruled that they could disappear you, meaning take a migrant or immigrant or anybody they deem as a threat to another third-party country like South Sudan. So if you're from Mexico, or you're from Haiti, or you're from Jamaica, they could send you to South Sudan, a country named Djibouti, in South of Africa, in Northwest Africa, where they have civil war going on, where they have a lot of torture going on. They could take you from your home and send you there, and the Supreme Court upheld that bullshit. Excuse me for cursing. This is crazy stuff that is going on right before our eyes, and we're not calling out the MAGA people, Khadijah. That's what I'm worried about. And you're a veteran. You're gonna have to go register as an independent, you know, or anybody else gonna have to go register as an independent to get service by the Veterans Administration, Khadijah. What you think of that?
You know what? Oh, that's ludicrous. And you know what? When you register as an independent, there when it comes down to presidential election, only Democrat and Republican can vote in a Democratic
in those primaries
election.
In those primaries to nominate. Yeah.
Right. You either have to be a Republican or a Democrat. So if you got to register as an independent, you can vote through on everything. But when it comes down to a presidential election,
well, in the primary, Sister Khadijah, in the primary, mostly in the primary. I mean, if your party or the group that's, I can't go vote in the Democrats or the Republicans just on when they have the at-large situation. But look on the screen, Sister Khadijah, if you're there. I'm taking responsibility for this post right here. The question for the black community need to ask our mayor president. Well, not mine, but everybody's mayor president and a high-ranking person in the Republican Party in the sense that she's a mayor of a major city in South Louisiana. Now, are these questions legitimate? Yes, they are. Can we have a litmus test for certain elected officials? We know where Blake Megas is standing we know that Blake Miguez announced his run for United States Senator. I'm going to put this picture up over the screen. He's running for United States Senator against Cassidy. We know he's an extremist. He made his point.
Yes,
he made his point, right? But we need to know where Mayor President Monique Blanco, Monique Blanco Boulay, sorry for butchering her word, where she stands. The point is, black folks, from what I heard, from what I know, they helped carry her over the line in Lafayette Parish and the city of Lafayette in office. So we need to know those questions. We're asking 6 questions. 6 questions. Are you anti-DEI? Are you for due process when it comes to detainees, immigrants? Are you going to do away? Are you for doing away with the SNAP and Medicaid benefits? Are you for removing black history from schools and colleges? Are you for doing away with police accountability and oversight? You know, that's the questions we want to ask. Yes, Khadija, you're back?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got 6 questions up there on the board. If somebody want to answer, if her community relations man, Vincent Pierre, want to call in and answer it for us, we'd be more than happy. You know, we are trying to gauge and move our people. The fight is not on a national level, Khadija. It's on a local level. The MAGA is only strong as the people it upholds it.
Yes, and remember, also, that she was in Baton Rouge yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
She was in Baton Rouge yesterday
right.
to apparently get some monies for Lafayette. But then when the previous mayor, Josh Guillory,
mm-hmm.
when he had mishandled millions of COVID monies, that was one thing that she was supposed to go after.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they say one thing and then they do something else.
Right.
That was essential to find out, because you could pass down Cameron, Simcoe, just go down in the black neighborhood as such, and you're going to see these messed up roads, got patches here, patches there. You go on the other side, the road is the smoothest blacktop road you could ever ask for. And then, what is the key question? Remember, she was a Republican.
Right.
She changed.
She was a Democrat.
She was a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
And her mama was a Democrat. Her whole family were Democrats.
They all were Democrats, Khadija, but they were what you call blue dog Democrats. You know, I mean, they had the conservative. They were catering to the Republicans, the Tea Parties at that time. You know, so that's why I don't play that game sometimes. You know.
Oh, blue dog conservatives?
Blue dog Democrats who are more conservative than other Democrats. So you got different levels of Democrats, just like you got different levels of Republicans. But the whole Republican Party have morphed into the MAGA movement, from Tea Party to MAGA. And MAGA to me equals Nazis and Klansmen together for the first time forever.
Okay, because like I do remember
mm-hmm.
The controversy behind the artist
mm-hmm.
With the blue dog. He didn't want to give his wife.
No, that's about a painting. An artist. The blue dog. But you know, the blue dog Democrats. Yeah, you know, it's more like it's a nickname for conservative political people in a certain party, especially the Democratic Party.
So, okay, all right. So how did she vote? That's something that we really need to know and understand.
Well, you know, she might be voting for some stuff for the community in Lafayette, and that's great. And I'm pretty sure Brother Vincent would defend that. But the whole point was, if she's a high-ranking major elected official of a major city in Louisiana, a Republican, right? But Brother Vincent comes from the Democratic Party, former head of the Black Caucus, and that don't match. So how can you expect the Democrats to advance over these Republicans when they're working in the same level of not saying nothing. I can't say nothing because I'm work for this person and I don't want to offend them. If you can't ask them those questions right there, honestly and simply ask them in a public forum, well then I know the Democratic Party is co-opted for a long, long time. So that's just my take on it. No offense on a personal level. People get mad, you know.
Right, and Jay, on that on that flyer, you should have had how did you vote? I mean, did you vote for Trump or not for Trump? We know how this other so-called MIGAS voted.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
we know how a lot of other people voted,
Right.
and they told you, but we don't know how Kathleen voted.
And some of our friends and associates in the black community in my hometown of New Iberia, they need to understand who they get in bed with. You can't vote for people who are extreme and working against the betterment. They might give you something on a local level. Even Monique, she might give us fix a road on the north side or something, fix a light bulb somewhere on the north side. But if she is voting or supporting overwhelmingly the MAGA agenda of erasing blackness, that's what I call it, well, then she's not a friend of ours. I'm just saying, it makes logical sense to talk about these things, and black folks do not want to talk about these things.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Sister Khadijah, one thing to pay attention to inform your compadres within the veterans groups, that they pay attention to that directive. We don't know if it's legal. Some people say it's not legal for them to do that because the president, the person in charge, Trump, do not allocate the money. It's Congress that allocate the money, and find out if Congress going to be on board of making changes, requirements to get service in the veteran medical platforms, that you have to be a you can't be a Democrat, and you have to be married. That is so crazy.
Yes, that is crazy. And what would being married have to do with anything?
Well, they're promoting family values. Of course, they're promoting family values because the president that grab them by the you know what. Yeah, you know, the Catholics and all of that too. They hypocrites.
Okay, you see.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Well, you said what I wanted to say. Marriage didn't stop him from
grabbing them by
infidelity. You know,
family values.
And it shouldn't mean that. But I wanted to also thank Wallace, Oscar, Brother Oscar,
yes,
and Brother Mike for having Donna Angel on their segment. Donna Angel is a superb artist, along with a lot of our other women artists that's out there. And stuff. And we need
I heard a rumor, Sister Khadijah, that she might be a guest on your show tomorrow.
Yeah, that's why I'm wanting to make sure that some people go ahead and listen in and everything, because we got to support our women musicians. We got to support our women musicians, and the men musicians. They need to be inclusive. Because y'all have nothing but women that supporting y'all. You need to be inclusive.
Right. And this week is Black History Music Month, Black Music Month. And I would love, I'm going to bring up the flyer right now, and I would love for people to support the whole notion of Black Music Month,
Yes, it is. All right, thank you so much, Brother J.
Yes. All right, thank you, Sister Khadijah. You could catch Sister Khadijah on the Open Line radio show tomorrow at 9 to 11 here on AOC Community Media and KIEE 88.3 FM. That's KIEEFM.com. Also, people, I want you to know you're listening live also on Digital Soul Radio. You go to www.digitalsoulradio.net. Digitalsoulradio.net. Download our app. Take us everywhere into your smartphones. We all over. I mean, pretty sure I'm not even going to address the whole notion. It's such a thing as haters. You just do your thing. That's all you have to do. Just do your thing, and the rest will follow. Again, Black Music Month. We lost so many of our artists. Month of June, Mr. Wayne Lewis of Atlantic Star, and Brother Sly of Sly and the Family Stones, and we lost some other notables too. But Black Music Month, Black Appreciation Music Month, special show on the Open Line Radio Show on tomorrow. Check it out. Doing Black Music Month, people. Again, you're looking and listening, all points in between, on Facebook and on YouTube. Real Talk on the Air on Facebook. Just do a search for Real Talk on the Air on YouTube. I'm sorry, Real Talk on the Air on YouTube, and look for Brother J on Facebook, and you'll catch this show. You can download the app on digitalsoulradio.net, digitalsoulradio.net, and you can listen. Not only that, you listen to some great music, a great playlist. We want to salute the new station in New Iberia, 105.7, Soul 105.7. Man, great music, great mixes every weekend. So we for supporting Black media. We are no haters over here. The only haters gonna be the one coming at us, because I saw a couple of posts on Facebook, basically smiling and laughing at the platform, but that's okay. Donald Trump is a better platform than mine anyway. So people, I got another video I wanna get at concerning concerning the VA hospital. Sister Khadijah, this is for you. That's what I was telling you. To check it out, Brother Rashad Ritchie has some excellent points he's making in the video. Check it out.
Ideology or marital status. The Guardian is reporting that VA hospitals are already making changes and implementing new guidelines under an executive order President Donald Trump signed in January. Now, what is this executive order? Under the new rules, medical staffers can decline to offer care to veterans based on individual traits not protected under federal law, such as political affiliation, whether they're married or single, or even if they're a member of a labor union. And according to the Guardian's report, the VA can conversely screen healthcare employees for potential new hires for these same characteristics, meaning the discrimination can go beyond just people that need the VA. It stems from Trump's, quote, defending women from gender ideology, extremism, and restoring biological truth in the federal government executive order, recognizing only two sexes, male and female. So while, the politics of it all would disagree with contextualization of social dynamics in such a binary way, what does the other stuff have to do with that? All right, here we go. So the press secretary for the VA, former Fox News digital politics editor, did not deny the policy change. He told The Guardian, quote, that the new rules allowed doctors to refuse to treat veteran patients based on their beliefs, or that physicians could be dismissed based on their marital status or political affiliation, but said, quote, all eligible veterans will always be welcome at VA and will always receive the benefits and services they've earned under the law, end quote. He called the rule changes a formality, but said they were made in accordance with Trump's executive order to ensure, quote, VA policy comports with federal law, end quote. It's unclear which federal laws he's referring to, however. And just for the record, the president doesn't get to write a federal law. White House Deputy Press Secretary vigorously denied the Guardian report, accusing the news outlet of fear-mongering. And she called the called out the reporter who was Aaron Glantz by name. The VA also denied the report, calling it disinformation. The story is disinformation. All eligible veterans will always be welcome at VA and will always receive the benefits and services they've earned under the law, the agency posted on X. This is just, I'm not a former military guy, never served. I would have assumed that you don't have to qualify a VA. I don't understand the terminology qualified VA, if a qualified veteran for the VA. If you are a veteran, I assumed you would qualify to receive VA services, and I could simply be misinformed. But critics are pointing to the VA's use of the term eligible, okay? And these are, well, Trump executive order dynamics at play. Because under Trump's executive order, the VA has removed, quote, national origin. They've removed, quote, politics and, quote, marital status from discrimination under its bylaws, leading some to wonder whether vets that fall into these categories are no longer qualified or eligible. Veterans. The hell is going on? All right, dear brother, thoughts?
Well, if we had someone else in office, you might say, oh, maybe there's a misunderstanding here. But we know the history. He's very petty, and he has, threatened to withhold money from Democratic states for many different things because because they didn't vote for him. And so here we are, and we know that he doesn't really have respect for the military. He said, I like with John McCain, he said, I like people who don't get captured. When he was at the I think it was in France for Normandy or something, he said to one of the generals, these guys are losers, the people whose graves were there. So he's had no real respect for the military, and as we see, he likes to make everything partisan. He's divided this country more and more and more, and his administration is doing the same. There's no reason to deny any kind of medical care to any veteran whatsoever. They go to the other parts of the world and they sacrifice their lives, and they come back here, and then we're finding ways to cut them short. And once again, some of these other benefits that they're planning on implementing or taking away are benefits that would benefit veterans. I sincerely don't feel that this administration has actual respect for veterans.
Yeah, and the veterans should feel that way as well. It's unfortunate, but it is reality. Trump has managed to basically alienate every voter demographic that supported his route to the presidency, from veterans to individuals who are hardworking people that happen to work for the federal government, and also your economic or your business class community. They have all been violated, but at some point, you got to say something.
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Ritchie. You can catch Dr. Rashad Ritchie on the Young Turks Network. That's a great brother. I followed him when he was a radio host on WAOK out of Atlanta. And I'm just saying this for informational purpose. The shows I listen to help mold my thinking and thought process about things, and trying to get some of that information back to our people. These brothers who I'm mentioning right now are some great brothers, really, really. The Carl Nelson Show on WOLAM out of Washington, D.C. Carl Nelson's a veteran of talk shows, and he's been doing this thing for a long, long time. Very conscious brother. Also, Brother Rashad Ritchie, another conscious brother. Now he's on the Young Turks Network. He's the fastest rising star among media. And also, Brother Roland Martin. Don't always agree with Roland, but I definitely do support Roland. And Roland is the biggest media supporter for black media, especially black media these times. I think we got a caller. Let me get this caller. Caller, welcome.
Yes, Brother J, yes. Oh, some really good clips, but your volume It's low. We can't hear you.
Oh yeah, the last one for Brother Rashad Ritchie. Okay, okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay, let me pump up the volume. Pump up the volume. Black Music Month. Remember that song, Pump Up the Volume? But again, people, the things that are going on now, you have to pay attention. You should divest yourself of mainstream media, meaning turn mainstream media off. CBS, ABC, NBC, they're trash. Even MSNBC, they're trash. Take away from our good brother Kevin. You can watch him every Thursday at 5:30 here on AOC Community Media. Those media outlets are trash. They do not explain some of the things that's going on, and they hide things, and they're not, let's say, forthcoming in putting out the real truth. Because Trump has used the FCC and put pressure under these major media corporations where they cannot do deals to sell some of their properties and so forth, especially one is CBS, and you have prominent anchors, guy from 60 Minutes left, Scott Pelley, long-time host. You have the guy who produced and one of the creators of 60 Minutes. He quit. He said he's not apologizing to no MAGA person. And then you got Terry Moran of ABC News who called them Trump and Elon. Well, I think it was Trump and the little Nazi Jewish guy Stephen Miller, some world class haters. You know, I mean they are world class haters. They hate everything. I guess they hate themselves. So we got to pay attention to the real media, Brother Rashad Ritchie, Brother Carl Nelson on WOL every morning. Some great guests. As a matter of fact, I get some of my guests' ideas from them. So I really appreciate these brothers for being on. And we don't know how long that Trump and his media henchmen gonna go out and start going on the local level and attacking people, little guys such as ourselves, for speaking the truth. Because we know we got a strong MAGA movement here in Lafayette and the surrounding area. I want to put this clip up here, Sister Khadijah, if you're watching. The headlines read from the Atlantic Black Star, another great source. They got many great sources, even what you call a media operation like the Louisiana Illuminator, more progressive. You know, if you want, you got conscious black folk media and you got progressive media. Sometimes we get some good information from those groups. And the Louisiana Illuminator is a great source. But here, the Atlanta Black Stars has some great information on this thing with Emmett Till. Now, tell me if that don't sticks in your crawl a whole lot. MAGA is lynching Emmett Till again. The Trump administration moves to strip protection from monuments honoring the teen whose murder sparked a modern civil rights movement. So the point is they could do whatever the hell they want, like I said in the post. But if you're collecting tax from black folks, then you have to speak out. Let me get this caller right here. Welcome, caller, to Real Talk TV.
Brother Jay.
Hey, good morning, good brother. Man? Good morning. Can you hear me?
You on? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Are you on point this morning? I'm looking at C-SPAN this morning.
Yes.
And the Republican Party always talk about the Democrat with a deficit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but when they in office, they don't worry about the deficit.
Right.
That beautiful bill, big social tax break,
yes.
That's going to make the deficit go way up.
Mm-hmm.
That 45 for the damn parade that didn't make sense, nobody went to.
Right.
That could have been for somebody needed, monies for all kind of other social programs. Those bums, Saturday, I want to know how much that costs.
Right.
That's not our fight.
No.
And this morning, I'm going to say what the president said, not me.
Mm-hmm.
But he said the two countries don't know what the fuck they're doing on national television. I'm serious.
Well, yeah.
You could go back and watch on C-SPAN what he said. That for a president
to
use that vulgar language, and kids, is out of school now.
Yeah.
But what that showing people or kids?
Right.
I'm not going to say people because they're some dummies.
Right.
Following the dummy.
And Carla, let me ask you about the Iraq War, and that's a lot of discussion going on in the black community. I see online, and I focus on, you know me, I focus on the black community. I'm not saying the thing is this: most of the time, if you look back to the Vietnam War, most of the time the people who are there drafting, they don't have a draft now, but you never know with him. They might call him, but most of the people who go volunteer and sign up to be in the service to get some better benefits in life are young black folks, and even Hispanics. Right now, I got a clip when I opened the show where they beat the father of 3 Marines. The man has 3 Marines serving in the United States military. The ICE agents beat the hell out of him because he was supposedly undocumented. No respect. So how can they expect to go start a war and they want to send the same people that they're oppressing to fight the war? I don't know what's your take on that.
Well, my take is Vietnam, but you struck a chord with me because I can't prove it.
Right.
But Martin Luther King been fighting for civil rights, and I think that's why they really killed him. It wasn't about the trash pickup or the trash guy getting killed. He was gonna stop a lot of black guys from going to Vietnam because our fight was over here, not with the cons. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think when he said peace, he was a peace man. He wasn't a violent man. And that was war against our people, trying to kill them off. You know, that's what most probably they tried to do.
Well, Donald Trump.
Because they had more blacks. And then they had my neighbor, one of my neighbors went to Vietnam. Him and a white boy ate at the same, or drink at the same helmet. And when they got off the plane in Louisiana, in the United States, he said, "Well, bro, we're no longer friends. Right. We're back in our hometown. You black, I'm white." And I would have killed him.
Yeah. Well, Donald Trump and him and Stephen Miller, that little idiot racist they have in there, they actually moved the bus that had been there for a long time through Republicans and Democrats. They moved the bus of Dr. Martin Luther King out of the area of the Oval Office and parts of the White House. So that tells you a whole lot. I mean, that tells our people a whole lot. So the reason I got sister, I can't call her sister, is she a sister? Monique Blanco Boulay picture on the screen, I'm trying to prove a point. It's not so much the Blake Miguez who's going to announce his run for against Cassidy. It's the people like the Fairweather Friends in the Republican Party who we help elect. Do they really care about that stuff? That's those questions I got. Can she answer that? I would like her to answer it, or have Vincent call and answer it for us. How she feel about all these things? Because the MAGA movement, the Trump movement, the Jeff Land, is only as strong as the people on the local level. That's my opinion, my brother.
Well, I live in Lafayette, and I pay my taxes in December.
Right.
City and parish.
Right.
And I'm still trying to figure out why I pay more parish tax than I pay city tax. But I really was in her corner. I took a picture with her. I went to her rally.
Right.
I thought she was going to be better than Josh Guillory.
Right.
And I don't see nothing progressing, besides her cutting ribbons for something that she didn't create, and the community on the north side is still suffering.
Yes.
They had Wednesday, just so happened they had a shooting at Super One, and they had a little meeting to protect and how they were going to do this and do that for the city. Lafayette, her and the chief.
Right.
But if you don't be out there, walk the neighborhood, and be with the people, not just flip them and kick the door down. You know what I'm saying? You got to have programs. Yeah. That's why they got rid of Chief Glover, because he was playing basketball with the kids. He had programs, or trying to get programs for them. He was disciplining officers that got out of line. They didn't want that, So I think we need an elected chief, and I don't know how we can do it. A police, because she's in bed, he was in bed with her, she in bed with him, the chief of police. So
Right.
whatever he said, do. And then you saw where she said on the news that uh, major is not a seniority, it's a merit now.
Right. Right.
Some she went when she went to the Capitol yesterday. That's what they got. So you know who they're gonna push. You know, because they got plenty of black guys that been there, seniority. They're not gonna put them there. That's all that was about.
Right. Right.
You know, push them back, not to give them that range.
Well,
You know, and because what you're doing, they've been in the force years, and if you give them that position, major, that retirement gonna be bigger. You know, especially for black people.
Right. Right. Well,
So
the fight is.
it's just a game.
Yeah, it's a game, and it's just that we on the local level have to start looking at that movement that's in the White House from the local level, because those people are only as strong because the Supreme Court just handed down another horrendous decision concerning taking people and sending them to a third party country. So what happens when they start using that on your loved ones in Angola and say we want to just take them and send them to a country that they know nothing about? And how you gonna put some money on his account? I know I'm joking and you shouldn't joke like that, but this is the reality that's coming down, and you see it coming like a train coming at you on the trail, and it's like you in slow motion. So I hope our people understand, and even our young people, my brother, that know who their ops are. Know who people who's working against them. Stop shooting yourself. Stop having shootouts. They got people far worse that want to kill you and yours or hurt you and yours through all kind of ways.
I think we got the same mindset. The same thing you saying, I've been saying, because these guys killing each other. The black man, young person, is not the enemy.
Yes.
You know, don't say disrespect you because he look at you hard or look at you funny, whatever. It's the people from local, state, and federal.
Yes.
You know, if I'm gonna die for to better my condition or my people condition,
Yeah.
not to go to Angola and be punked out.
Yeah. We got another
You know,
call on the line.
I
I don't know if you want him to join in or you would stay on the line. We got another call on the line.
no,
Host of
I think
Community Matters
I like
right
to listen
now.
to you.
Okay.
I like to listen to you. You give me give. I call you the Wizard of Oz.
Hopefully.
You know, because they got. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully
All right, Brother James.
hopefully the Grand Wizard won't be after me after this. Okay, my brother. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, I'm not calling you a wizard like that, though.
I know. No, I'm saying the Grand Wizard might be after me after the.
Yeah, because in the Wizard of Oz, they had the lion, the Thin Man, the Scarecrow, and it needed all of them needed something, and you try to give them that knowledge to get all of that.
Yes, we need all our media outlets working right now. We need all of them. All right, thank you so much, my brother.
All right, Brother Dan, thank you.
Thank you. There you go, people. We had an interesting caller, and that's a great caller because he calls the other shows, and we want to support these media outlets, and not just one, all of them, whether we agree with them or not. We need to support all our black media. Welcome, caller.
Yes, good morning, Brother Jay.
Good morning, caller.
Everything that previous caller was saying, he was exactly right, you know. And the thing of it is, we need to know where our tax dollars is going, you know. But before I get into that, I would love to make our people understand. Go get your real ID, you know, because with this ICE agent and the way they putting policemen in special positions, you know, get your real ID, you know. And we talking about the war in Iran and Iraq and all this other old bull crap. But what about the war here in the United States against our black people?
Right.
You know, They've been bombing us. They bombed Tulsa, Oklahoma. They
Philadelphia,
hanging us.
Philadelphia,
Yeah,
Pennsylvania. Yeah, the movement. Yes.
yeah. Those four black girls that they bomb at the church and things like this here. And we looking at President Trump, hollering about fake news and stuff like this here. And what we gonna do about what's happening to us? You know, a lot of us just sitting back, relaxing. Is not their fight, but we're in the fight. All people of color are in the fight. We have different nationalities coming here into our communities, opening up stores, gas stations, the things that we should be having, they're getting. And who runs to them? We do, you know,
Right.
and we make sure that their stores are filled, buying the alcohol, uh, not the things that we really need, you know. And I'm glad you got Mayor uh, Monique Blanco Boulay on the screen, because she went to Baton Rouge yesterday,
Right.
looking for some things that I would love for her to go to Baton Rouge and try to put in the north side, upper Lafayette, and that's a hospital,
Right.
you know, and she know the people, or she could bring the people together. She could go to Governor Landry, Jeff Landry, and talk about these things, because when Bobby Jindal was in office, he sold all the hospitals to ASA, so now, let him do something, you understand me, for the predominantly black communities, and that's what I'm looking at.
Right.
Why can't we come together and talk about these things, so we have a black man have a chance to have a lot of say so in the Northgate Mall. Let's make it happen,
Right.
Is
Right.
we gonna revitalize the Northgate Mall in shopping and trying to get the things that we need, rebuilding North Lafayette? I don't know, you know. But the thing of it is, if we don't take a stand and start trying to move forward instead of staying still or going backwards, we ain't going nowhere.
Right. Right.
And again, I urge the people to go and get these real IDs. You know,
Yes.
that way, if you get stopped for any reason, you got a real ID saying that you belong here. Without the real ID,
Right.
they could do you anything. They could say you're not a U.S. citizen. You see?
Yeah, I got a
So
I got a picture on the screen. Let me bring that picture on the screen right there. Supreme Court allows Trump to remove migrants to South Sudan and other turmoil-filled countries, and that's just not the migrants. That's going to be for people who are in prison, people who don't have IDs, people who they deem as a threat to them by those who speak out. It's coming. It's coming. It's just that we need to know, we need to get prepared for stuff like that. And you're right, we should have an idea to solidify our place here in these United States, but we still got to know what's coming down the pike, man. I really appreciate what you're saying.
yeah. I thank you, Brother Jay, for all the media attention that you are giving to us to let us know what's going on. And you got some people don't believe in what the media is saying
Right.
because they sitting not at the table, but in a room in the corner, listen to what's going on, and long as they could get what they want, forget about the other people that's behind them.
Right.
They just looking out for themselves and looking ahead, and that's what we got to stop. You know.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and we could be under the radar. You know.
Yeah.
And if we don't make ourselves known, our presence known, we ain't going nowhere. You know, and everybody could come into our community, build stores, because if we try to do it, they don't want to give us the money. You know,
Yeah.
and if we got, go ahead.
And this whole migrant thing and immigrant thing too is I want to feel a lot of sympathy for those who being snatched, but the whole thing is they certainly know what people to go snatch. They're not gonna go snatch those store owners that paying some good taxes and members of the Republican Party. You know, Lafayette is actually an immigrant community, Brother Wallace. A lot of high-ranking Republicans and conservatives hails from second and third generation migrants or people who came here. You know, the Lebanese community, the college saloons, the Ackle. Remember our old Sheriff Lewis Ackle? That's all immigrants and migrants. The Abdallahs, all these prominent people. But they're not going after them. But they even going back into people who they want to disappear. To their grandmother. They're putting the grandfather of people who been here. This is a selected. This is racial profiling selectiveness by Trump to do away with people he don't desire. And look at what's going to happen with the sugarcane season coming up, the harvesting of the sugarcane. I'm gonna keep saying this, and people need to ask their politician like Blake Miguez and state senator who's running for United States senator, will you send the ICE agent Blake into the sugar mills in Olivier, the one in Patouville, the one in St. John behind St. Martinville? Will you send them to get those people where those sugar cans rot in the field because we don't have the truckers who are mostly Hispanic driving these trucks? Stop being a hypocrite, people, and stop listening to that false narrative put out by these Republicans and conservatives here in South Louisiana. This is a lot of bull that they putting with us. They got their people picked who are not with. It's like you either with them or against them, you know. And so we'll see when the sugar season, harvesting season take effect.
Well, if the statement was made, they're not going to go at those sugarcane workers. They're not going to go at the truck drivers. They're not going to go at the crawfish peelers and things like this here.
So that means they're not going to apply the law equally. So that means they violating their own terms. So they basically are some criminals using the Justice Department to selectively prosecute people. So they, you know, one thing I hope when this is over, because Trump not going to last forever, you know, old faded situations die off. And when this is over with, those who are doing these things, those who are in charge in the Justice Department and the FBI and all these secret ICE organizations, they're going to have to face somebody's justice. They're going to have to go into court and get prosecuted because they are doing a lot of illegal things. Hopefully, they need to understand. Some of the remember the bad cops we deal with? One day, justice catch up with you, bad cop.
Yeah, well, you know, the thing of it is, it just takes so long for them to catch up with the bad.
Yeah.
You know, and the good never notice. All the things that they're doing, they are well aware of what they're doing. But the thing of it is, we're not making enough noise, you know. Like back in the 60s when there was rallying, marching for our civil rights and things like this here. They had a lot of people were scared for that to come to the community and things like this here. You know, we having rallies now. They have people not going to these rallies, you know, to let our voice be heard also.
Right.
You know, our voice need to be heard, man, because if we can't come together, you understand me? I don't care what race, religion, creed, or color you are. You know, if we not gonna come together, it ain't gonna
It
happen.
ain't gonna happen. Yes.
You know, if only when the black folks was fighting, we had some white folks fighting with us too. You know, and they called them, excuse the word, nigger lovers and stuff like this here. You know, and now it is even better because we got media to really show what's going on.
Right.
You know, we got telephones that if we see something wrong, we could put it on our phone and pass it on. But back in the days, we didn't have all these things. You know what I mean? So, you know, look how Dr. King had to do it. It was all word of mouth. You know, come to church, get your information. You know, other than that, you didn't have it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but now things are different. Look when Trump, when President Obama got in office, what Trump did. Look at all the money that he spent trying to find out if President Obama had a birth certificate.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and he spent all kind of money in Arizona with the sheriff over there. You know, for him to investigate that. And he did.
Yeah,
He
you're
did
right.
4 years of that, man.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, look at this other headlines I got out of the Louisiana Illuminator. White nationalists awarded for law school paper that he put together for his college professor, arguing that the Constitution only applies to white people, meaning that those who argue that the Constitution, the original Constitution in its form when it was created, is the only one that counts. So that means the Constitution doesn't apply to black people. Well, we already knew that. We already knew. We fighting to make it apply to us, but we already knew that. So this is where the MAGA crowd that Monique Blanco is a part of, and as a Republican, if you're a MAGA, if you're a Republican, you are a MAGA if you are a Republican. If you're not denouncing what they're doing, you are a MAGA. So this is where the MAGA party is going. We have politicians in Baton Rouge, Brother Wallace, from our side of the aisle, the Democrats that we favor, who we might have voted for even as an independent, who help. They are coward and afraid to use those words, white supremacists. They are so afraid. Man, if you say white supremacists, man, it's almost like I'm watching a Django movie. You know, you can't say those things because it's gonna upset. But the MAGA movement, the Republicans, if Donald Trump, they turn on the TV like you said, his quote today, and he says something, they're gonna think that's cute, and even black folks gonna think that's cute what he said. And this is what we're saying. They're normalizing craziness, and the normal stuff is being buried, pushed aside. Is being saying, oh no, how dare you say it? Do not call these people racist or white supremacists. This is how crazy it's got. There's no logical, nothing nonsense to the only conclusion anyone could come with a decent brain that this is about racism. Trump is only endeared to the Lafayette crowd because of the racism, you know.
Look, I was watching C-SPAN this morning, Brother Jay, and they was interviewing him.
Right.
And do you know he used that F word?
Yes.
While they was interviewing him, and he used the F word and told him, "F you." You know, don't ask me no question like that.
Yeah, well, this is who they uplift. You know.
Yeah.
This is who they uplift.
And then you hear people calling in on C-SPAN talking about the war in Iraq and Iran. You know, and all these people supposed to go to church on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, and praising God and Jesus Christ, but at the same time, war bring death and destruction, and they praising death and destruction.
Yeah, well,
Why are you doing that?
the mindset is even their belief system in spirituality is so off because they don't, that's not even logical that you pray for someone's death. You pray to take out a leader of another country because you feel threatened by them. So that means what? You don't have any soul in your existence. But that's just the way they always been. That's the way they always been. So the only
Yeah,
equalizing
well,
process we have is they gonna close their eyes too and die. You know. So
yeah, well, that, like I say, man, I don't want to see uh, animals dead, less long a human being,
right.
no human being uh, uh, should deserve to be killed, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Even on the streets of our streets today,
Right.
no human being should be allowed to be killed. You understand me? On the streets, and regardless where it is, if it's in wartime or not,
Right.
nobody have should be killed behind stupidity.
I think we got
You
another
know,
caller, Brother
but
Wallace.
yeah, you got another call coming in, so I'm gonna let you go,
All
brother
right.
Jay. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
All right, brother.
All right.
Welcome, caller.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, caller.
I listen to your show often,
Thank you, my
and
brother. Thank you.
I got to say something.
Yes, sir.
You
yes,
know, we're
sir.
so busy worried about a Donald Trump until we don't take care of our own business.
Right.
It's like watching the neighbor's wife for cheating and your wife doing the same thing.
Yes, sir.
We're so worried about a Donald Trump and we ain't taking care of our own business.
Yes.
I'm looking at your program, which brings an interested voice to the community.
Yes, sir.
Black people not watching it.
I know.
They're not watching that.
I know.
You solve problems at home. You can't throw a rock from here to Washington, D.C., but you can
Right.
throw a rock next door.
I,
We are not fighting the local problems at home.
I'm
We're
always
so
saying
focused on
the
Trump.
fight against MAGA is local. The fight against MAGA
It's
is
local.
local.
We
if,
have
if you
local
believe,
elected
if
officials
it's a
around
problem,
here.
you know what I'm saying?
We have local elected officials over here kiss more butts than the law allows.
Yes,
They do not have to respect us because we don't respect ourselves.
exactly.
If I heard a guy told me the other day he went to some function and he was the only black there. You never figured it out? You're there for a reason. You become a paw parrot.
Right.
Being popular don't mean you're purposeful. Popular means they know who they can trust. You don't invite your enemy to your birthday party.
Exactly.
You invite your friend. You invite who you trust.
And that's why I have a problem with what's going on right here in Lafayette. And I'm not down on Monique for whatever she.
Lafayette had to be. They said New Orleans was the slave capital. That's a lie. Lafayette was.
Yeah. Yeah.
The murderer, the killer of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, one came out of Opelousas, one came out of Lafayette.
Yeah. Yeah.
They may as well let the white boys go because we are our worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching Mr. Gary Chambers. Love the brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's in error.
Yeah.
He's so busy fighting for Bloom, who lost the mayor's race. When she was in office, she was a friend of the same people that got her out of office.
There you go.
They created St. George because of her. When you have the dirty money in your pocket, you can't fight.
The mayor of New Orleans in the same situation too. Yeah.
Same situation. Listen, I will give Donald Trump $1,000 a day to put some of the Negroes on the boat and take them with him. The white man the white man has always been, I'm not going to say our enemy.
Right.
Because we make ourselves subject to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a businessman. Since the Hispanics have leaving, since Trump is and I don't agree with his tactics.
Right.
My phone have not stopped ringing.
Mm-hmm.
The black churches are hiring the Hispanics without one Hispanic in that pew.
Right.
You will not see that in the white community where they don't feed their own.
Yeah.
When the senior citizens in our community call, got a busted water line in the winter, got a light don't want to work, got an air conditioner don't work. It's the local black contractors and businessmen help them. But we don't pay them back.
Right.
We don't pay them back.
Right.
We think we got that to do. They spend that money. I hear all these black churches talking all this black stuff. Go see who built their churches.
Yeah.
The same boys that are sitting down Trump money is who build their churches.
Yes.
So they need to quit hollering wolf. These Negroes are sellouts. Y'all can promote them if you want. But half of them come on your show. They got on their back for sale.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Y'all have a good day. That's rent-on Negroes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You have a good one, sir. You continue your work. Don't be discouraged.
No, sir.
Eventually, one day our people will wake up.
Yes, sir. I really appreciate those words. We need views like that. We need them. Thank you so much, good brother.
All right.
There you go. I mean, that's a different perspective, but it's needed. Having a media outlets, and we on in Cox and in the 5 Parish area in South Louisiana. Appreciate AOC. Even social media, which we don't get a lot of play on social media, but that's not my focus on social media as so much as being on local television and local radio. But the thing is to keep on talking about some things that other people probably don't want to talk about, probably things that make people uncomfortable. I see the federal appeal court rejected Louisiana 10 Commandments display law. Again, Jeff Landry, Liz Morrell, thou shalt not kill. You're right. We need to have that up on the wall in the elected House of Representatives, the Louisiana State Senate, and in a lot of law enforcement jurisdictions, especially in St. Martin Parish Sheriff Department, Iberia Parish Sheriff, Lafayette Sheriff. We need to have that them 10 Commandments up on the wall, especially the highlighting the one say, thou shalt not kill. Okay. Especially the state killing. Have that up in Angola too. The state being the arbiter of who kills and who lives. Maybe a couple of ICE agencies to carry that around too. So, I mean, certainly a lot is going on. I want to get to this whole issue about the Iraq War and how MAGA and Trump is. Okay, I think we still got somebody on the phone. Okay, we're gonna cut that phone situation off. Yes. One of the things I want to talk about is Trump lying about what's going on with the Iraq War. Check this out. This came out yesterday.
Never brokered, and that neither side ever heard about. This reads, Iran has not received any ceasefire proposal, senior official says. Even the Islamic Republic of Iran state media said, quote, the ceasefire proposal put forward by U.S. President Donald Trump is completely false. No official or unofficial ceasefire proposal has been received from Iran. Quote, in response to the media fabrication, the Islamic Republic of Iran will, within a few hours, demonstrate the falsehood of this claim to the Zionist regime through direct and on-the-ground action. Throughout all of this, Israel continued to escalate and strike Iran repeatedly, and this fabricated claim is a high-stakes lie that is just going to continue to inflame tensions in the Middle East. Look at this. They are saying, to demonstrate that this is a lie, we are going to take ground action. We're going to take on-the-ground action in Israel, which is terrifying, and to continue. Let's start off with the post that Donald Trump made, and it's a complete lie. A lot of mainstream media is just posting this, covering this, and not pointing out that it's a lie. But on this show, on this channel, we will push back. Make sure you subscribe to the feed below if you want the truth injected in your feed multiple times a day. This reads, congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire, parenthesis, in approximately 6 hours from now when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their progress, final missions, for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. So he's basically setting these weird arbitrary timelines that neither side seem to have agreed to. He's saying that in 6 hours, there's going to be a 12-hour ceasefire, and after this 12 hours, the war is officially ended. He then tries to label it the 12-day war, which is very, very odd. He's trying to label it some like grand war to act like he cut a ceasefire. But before I play this clip of JD Vance being confronted about this exact thing, can I just point out that Trump has already tried to broker 3 or 4 quote unquote ceasefires since he became the president, and each one has only benefited authoritarian nations. The biggest one we can talk about is the 30-day ceasefire he tried to broker between Russia and Ukraine, where Ukraine agreed to lay down their arms, but Russia used that as an opportunity to trick Trump's dumbass and continue to gain territory and land and everything of the sort. Here's Brett Baer asking JD Vance, hey, what if Israel or what if Iran didn't hear about this?
Would you be surprised if Iran is sending out signals that it doesn't have a specific ceasefire plan? How would the communication have been with the Iranians to get this level of confidence to put out that detailed statement?
Well, see, he's basically being asked, the President of the United States just put out a detailed statement about ceasefire timelines. How in the hell was there a communication breakdown at this level where Trump didn't even coordinate with the Iranians?
Would you be surprised if Iran is sending out signals that it doesn't have a specific ceasefire plan? How would the communication have been with the Iranians to get this level of confidence to put out that detailed statement?
Well, one of the things I've learned, Brett, about the Iranians in the past, 4 or 5 months that I've been in this job is what they say publicly and privately can sometimes be very different. I think what the Iranians have shown very clearly is they don't want this war to go on for much longer. Their air defenses have been totally destroyed. Their conventional missile program has been largely destroyed. And of course, their nuclear program has been obliterated, as I said before. So I think the Iranians are at a place where they don't want to keep on fighting. You saw the president, and I don't have the truth in front of me, but he talked about the next 6 hours finalizing the attacks. I mean, I think what he's talking about is right now, for the American people watching, it's dark over there. That's typically when the Israelis and the Iranians have been shooting at each other. I think there's some recognition that that might continue for another few hours, and tomorrow really is a new day. The end of the 12-day war, the end of the Iranian nuclear program.
It's not the end of the 12-day war. It's not the end of the tensions in the Middle East. Again, the ceasefire proposal put forward by U.S. President Donald Trump is completely false. Can I also point out that U.S. officials have conceded they don't even know the fate of Iran's uranium stockpile? J.D. Vance was confidently claiming in that interview that it's been destroyed. Their nuclear capabilities are no more and will never be any more. But no, both Vice President J.D. Vance and Rafael Grossi, the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, or the IAEA, acknowledged questions about the whereabouts of Iran's stockpile of near bomb-grade nuclear material. Trump said that it was completely and totally obliterated, but it doesn't seem like that's true. We're getting weird, murky intelligence, and not about some small-time thing. This isn't like the military parade where there's mixed signals and it seems kind of lame. This is an actual war breaking out in the Middle East, and Donald Trump is lying about ceasefires. Trump's ceasefire was not supported by any on-the-ground developments, 0 official statements from either Israel or Iran. Israel's public response was categorical denial, saying this was fabrication and U.S. deception, while Israeli officials have remained silent. Let me just show you like how the AP has been reporting this. They say Trump says Iran and Israel have phased in a ceasefire over 24 hours. But when they cite this, they just cite Trump. Trump says. Then Trump suggests full ceasefire will begin. They just cite Trump's Truth Social post as if it's the truth. Then Vance calls Israel-Iran war an important reset. Okay, so you've cited Truth Social and JD Vance. Have you cited anybody else here? White House reposts Trump's social media post. Notice the pattern here. AP is just reporting like the same 3 sources. The White House, Trump, and JD Vance. It might as well be the same source. Then we continue. U.S. House Speaker praises Trump. What is this propaganda feedback loop? You guys see this, right? The Associated Press is just regurgitating whatever the Trump admin is saying. The sources they've used so far, the White House, Trump, Vance, Speaker Johnson. But then they say, Iranian state media has no word on Tehran response. No comment from Israel and Iran UN missions. Iran's mission declined to comment on Trump's ceasefire post, and the Israeli mission said it had no immediate comment. And then 250 Americans have been evacuated from Israel, and Iran warns Ramat gone in the Israeli military. So the ceasefire is not really ceasefiring. And the way that the AP, the Associated Press, is covering this is pretty disgusting. You guys see my point, right? They are just regurgitating the Trump admin with no critical thought and having small footnotes that say, no comment from Iran. No comment from Israel. Like, dude, you should have a headline that says, Iran and Israel never claim ceasefire, while Trump sends long manic posts about ceasefire. Maybe you don't have to include the word manic. That's my word. But look at this. He sends out a post that is meant to seem like a ceasefire, but it's a lie. And he's done this multiple times in the past with other countries where he makes deals or he announces deals that aren't confirmed, deals that fall through almost immediately. Bro, just focus on domestic politics. All that America First stuff is now starting to sound pretty good when you're actually actively engaging in the Middle East. I would argue that America First means having a strong, healthy society where immigrants are welcome to boost our economy and build a better life, where we're securing Ukraine and Ukraine's border, because that is part of being America First. You don't want to be Russia first. You want to put America first, which means helping Ukraine, helping thriving democracies across the globe with USAID, and even helping countries that are struggling with USAID. That is putting America first. Disease prevention before it comes to our doorstep. Sorry for getting too far off track, but the point is, what happened to that original vision of no new wars and putting America first? Now, Trump is like schizophrenic, making up ceasefire deals, and it's pretty egregious. If you appreciate the breakdowns we do, drop a like, subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video, and peace out.
Yes, we're back here at Real Talk Television. We want to thank all the callers and listeners online. We're also we're streaming live to our online radio station. Download the app, digitalsoulradio.net. We not only play talk shows, we have Brother Darren Muhammad every Monday at 9 o'clock, replays audio of his show. Check him out as the Community Defender every Monday at 9 o'clock on Digital Soul Radio. We're going to take the platform that we're on and we can consolidate it into one situation, one app where you can watch it all over on Real Talk TV, on our website, on realtalkmedia.net, www.realtalkmedia.net, and also on Digital Soul Radio just for the audio portion. So it's a more convenient app, Digital Soul, where you could just put it on your phone or have it on your Bluetooth. It's also on Roku. It's on Amazon Fire TV. It's on Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. So you can listen to the audio portion if you can't watch TV while you're driving. You're not supposed to. So you could have it on your audio device in your car and everywhere on your phone. There are more phones than there are television sets in the United States, and even on a global level. So people, consider downloading the app, www.digitalsoulradio.net, and you go to the top right-hand corner of the page and download the app. It's non-intrusive. It does not have any spyware. It's just an app to listen to all the programming we have on Digital Soul Radio. So check it out, people. Again, you see this picture up here. That's an article from the Big Easy magazine. See, I take progressive news sources from all over, and just to give you a slice of the truth from every corner of the global perspective. And this was from after the No Kings protest that they had 2 Saturdays ago. On the heels of No Kings Day protest, the Louisiana Freedom Caucus, another racist, corrupt, idiot groups of people from Louisiana. That's what we have in Louisiana. We have those 3 adjectives, adverbs: racist, corrupt, and idiots. They come up with a notion that suggests that drivers can run over protesters if they feel threatened. Okay? So here's this article. On a day meant to celebrate resistance and tyranny, the Louisiana far-right lawmakers issued what critics are calling a thinly veiled permission slip for violence. During Saturday's No King protests across Louisiana, part of a national movement rejecting authoritarianism and Donald Trump's taxpayer-funded military birthday spectacle, the Louisiana Freedom Caucus released a public safety alert, reminding citizens they can legally drive through crowds of protesters if they feel endangered. Well, I wonder if what that was in New Orleans when y'all had that big old situation where that black guy ran through the crowd and killed a bunch of people or injured some people. I mean, this is what y'all trying to promote. I mean, y'all just went through that horrible situation in New Orleans. Now, this is what these racist, corrupt idiots in the Louisiana legislative body is promoting, the so-called Louisiana Freedom Caucus. Freedom from what? Freedom to be a white supremacist. That's what that's about. It also goes on to say the timing of the message was not accidental. Protesters gathered in 10 Louisiana cities, including New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette, marching peacefully in opposition to a growing Donald Trump authoritarian-type rhetoric and state-sponsored militarism. I added Donald Trump name in there. No injuries or violent incidents were reported anywhere in the state, yet the Freedom Caucus preemptively warned that drivers had the right to use their vehicles to escape to safety. When will drivers attack? That's what I want to understand. The only people in protests down through history mostly were the people in the protests getting killed. Remember Kyle Rittenhouse? He pulled out an AK and shot a couple of protesters in the back, killing one. These white supremacists, they don't stop. They don't stop. When surrounded by angry, violent mob, they had the option of driving out to safety, the statement read, referring to Louisiana RS 9:2792.10, a 2018 law that officially offers civil immunity, not criminal immunity, to drivers who hit someone while fleeing a perceived threat from unlawful road obstruction. The message didn't stop there. In a widely circulated graphic, the Freedom Caucus declared your right to self-defense is non-negotiable. If violent protests block Louisiana roads and you fear for your life, you have the right to escape in your vehicle without civil or criminal liability. The second part of the legal dubious, the statute provides no guarantee against criminal charges. Prosecutors and courts still determine whether force will be justifiable. Well, I guess Ronald Green was trying to flee a protest by Louisiana State Police. I guess that's what it was. But I guess they were doing the right thing, the Louisiana State Police. People, hypocritical people, whether the religious Catholics going to be the first one in church on Sunday, on Saturday. They don't even want to go to church on Sunday. They want to go on Saturday, the night before the Sabbath. So, their religious perspective is all screwed up anyway. So, pay attention to that, people. That's a great article, and I had a lot of commentary to it. That's a great article in the Big Easy magazine. I want to go to this other clip right here concerning what a sheriff said before the protest happened 2 Saturdays ago. You need to hear this, and this is the mindset of the MAGA movement. We're going to play this from Brother Dr. Rashad Ritchie.
Sheriff threatens to kill anti-Trump protesters. Here it is.
If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play.
Put him on full mask. Interesting. Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey, that's his name, gave a warning to protesters.
Like a bunch of white supremacists.
We will kill you. Graveyard dead is the exact quote. Now, Sheriff, I want to remind you of a few things. Number one, your job as law enforcement is not actually to shoot to kill, it's actually to stop the threat. Now, if you're telling the world, especially those under your command in the jurisdiction of your county in Florida, that your officers are going to shoot to kill, that means that you have eliminated the context of stopping known threat, which also means you have opened you and your entire department up to significant civil liability and possibly criminal prosecution if your officers decide to engage in such an act, stop a person who's engaged in any violence, and then decide to continue to shoot them and kill them anyway once the threat has been eliminated, because you have said at a press conference that's what you're going to do. Florida Attorney General James Utmeyer, a Republican, backed Ivy's stance, which followed remarks by GOP Governor Ron DeSantis, who recently suggested that drivers could run over protesters if they felt the need to flee for safety. Can we all just go ahead and agree that Florida is hell? And I know some people who are good folk watch the show in Florida. I got some friends in Florida. You all are going to have to leave Florida to experience life beyond the insanity. These individuals are hell-bent on killing people, running over protesters, holding press conferences, all for the sake of saying one particular thing: death. Death. Not law enforcement, killing. Not rehabilitation through some type of, I don't know, correctional support, which is still called the Department of Corrections. No, none of that. They're just looking to make you graveyard dead now. At least they're saying it out loud. Hell, they've been doing it for decades. Quote, you don't need to sit there and wait while people smash your window and damage your vehicle and put your family in jeopardy. You drive, just drive. That's what the Attorney General said at a press conference, basically saying, if you do it, we're going to look the other way. All right? That's what he's saying. Now, that's what the Attorney General is saying. I'm also adding that the state is taking steps to protect ICE agents. We talked about this earlier in the week. ICE agents by penalizing individuals who publish their personal information. Freedom of speech gone. In Los Angeles, since the start of the protest against ICE raids on Friday, nearly 400 people have been arrested or detained. The majority of these arrests occurred on Monday. I have more. Now, remember, they are engaged in a thoughtful, systematic, and problematic process of making sure that you are criminally and possibly civilly somehow penalized for publishing information related to a member of government, which the last time I checked, a member of government is a public servant. A member of government has the same rights, hopefully, that you do. That they have the right of freedom of speech and you have the right of freedom of speech as well. If you just happen to have information that others don't have, you are able to say said information. Now, if that information happens to be untrue and you engage in some form of slander or libel, well, once again, we have courts to remedy that in order to create an equitable outcome for the person you have wronged, if you did. But to be able to tell the truth with information that you have, somehow that now becomes criminalized in the context only of protecting a member of government. Why isn't it to protect you? When have they made a law, a rule, a remedy, an ordinance to protect you from individuals who dox you? Oh, there's no remedy for that. Hell, I get doxed all the time. All right. Los Angeles Police Department. If you remember LAPD, we reported about this. So the LAPD, they have over 80 people arrested now in connection with protests from Wednesday. The majority of these arrests were for failure to disperse which is a BS arrest. It just means you're not moving fast enough, typically. Hundreds of protesters have been arrested now. Many detained and then released across multiple cities, including New York, San Francisco, Chicago, Denver, Seattle, and Spokane, Washington. Now, if you believe that this is about undocumented immigrants, let's use that word. If you believe this is about undocumented immigration, you are foolish. If you believe this is about protesters, you're more foolish than you look. You see, this is about control. This is about stretching the laws in order to feed this appetite that has been created artificially inside of the gullible known as MAGA. So understand, they're bending and breaking the laws to go after folk that you may disagree with. And once they have done that, they now have what they need, the catalyst, in order to bend and break those laws to go after you. What's stopping them? You? No, of course not. You agreed with it. You said it was okay to do. You signed off on it. This is not about protesters. This is not about undocumented individuals. It is about a change, a shift in the paradigm. We cannot and we will not and we do not allow this to happen on our watch. We don't. Why are they getting rid of people in this country who are workers? Why are they laying off all the workers? At one time they said, hey, immigration was about work. Not anymore, they just want them out. Now they're deporting people that aren't even here without documentation. They have documentation. Your working class being laid off. Why? Because they are creating a paradigm shift. That paradigm shift eliminates the worker. It eliminates your middle class. It creates even higher echelons of oligarchy. And all of a sudden you have a country of haves and absolutely have-nots. That's what they're doing. All right, Jordan, thoughts here?
This is an extremely worrying development in an already terrifying world of policing and military. Of course, the National Guard deployment by Trump is chilling, sending in Marines. Some of the comments we're hearing from Marines, I saw footage on local news here in LA last night. They went down to Camp Pendleton and Marine officers and staff were pointing and laughing at the local cameras. Like, they're enjoying it. They're not recognizing how dangerous this actually is. And when you have people who enlisted growing up in an era of the war on terror and a state of forever war, thinking they're going to get deployed, and then they're not, this could be the first opportunity some of them have to see any sort of boots on the ground action. And it's civilians that are on the other side of that barrel. This is chilling. And then cops now saying, we'll kill you. I mean, Florida has a harsh law that the ACLU and the Florida Supreme Court, of course, the ACLU has condemned, and the Florida Supreme Court has tried to define. Nowhere in it does it say you get to die on the spot. You die on the spot if you engage in these activities. We're not saying that activity is legal or even encouraged. The punishment is not death. And for him to so carelessly say, yeah, we'll kill you if you do this, it shows that they know there won't be any consequences. Because, of course, DeSantis, Republicans in the state of Florida, and many parts of the media, and especially the right-wing media, will justify it. Well, it was self-defense. Well, they threw this. Well, they did that. There's always an excuse. People on the right can always find an excuse for a cop to extrajudicially kill somebody. And now they're telling you in advance, we will kill you. No, that's not law and order. That's not due process. I know the right doesn't care about that, but we still need to fight for it. This is disgusting.
Yeah, but we will stand, we will fight, we will be protected, we will be victorious because we will be together. All right, we'll bring updates as they come.
Yes, you just heard from Brother Rashad Ritchie. Check him out on the TYT network, the Young Turks network. Brother Rashad Rich is always having some interesting takes on things. Also, with Brother Rashad Rich, how would I know about all the extrajudicial police actions against people of color if it wasn't for Dr. Ritchie posting all these videos of people getting brutalized every day by cops? This has to stop, and our people who are at the crossroads here in America, they need to recognize that white supremacy has taken over again, and they're doing everything within their power. Let me get this. I will turn that ringer off in the next segment of Real Talk. Hi, good morning, caller.
Yes, Brother Jay, it's those that your show is so important. Everybody needs to see it. I know the information is the right type of information because it's coming from reporters, it's coming from shows that their interest is getting out the truth.
Yes. Oh, you hear me? Caller, you still there?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Their interest is getting out the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
However, protest is a way of America. You know, we've done this for years. I know I've been protesting for over 50 years as we speak, and trust me, things do get done. It put them on the front line when you have, you know, corrupt police officers, like we have, like in the 16 JDC. When you have those rude how they call them, Jay, that they take and they just do what they want, how they want, and there's no consequences.
Right.
But you know what? That in itself is just horrific. I know we're not gonna go back to Florida, that's for sure. And they get up there and they talk that talk because they got that cuckoo president that's giving everybody the opportunity to say what they want to say, that they've been holding on for such a long time. Jay, do you remember when we had this congressman, this black congressman from New Orleans, that they say he stole $150,000? He went to prison. He's been in prison for a while. I don't know if he's
Congressman
out or not.
Congressman William Jefferson.
Okay, that's who that was.
Yeah.
William Jefferson. Well, you have this cuckoo trunk who's making money off of Bitcoins. There was an airplane in the making that they supposedly going to give to him. So it's okay to steal when you're letting everybody know, I have stole this, I will steal this. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. He's the most corrupt individual, according to several different think tanks. The most corrupt and racist individual to ever show his face. You know, I ain't saying the others wasn't corrupt and racist, but he is showing, he's telling you what he's going to do. You know.
Exactly. Now I don't remember if that airplane he actually got, but it was in. But the country wanted to donate the airplane to him, and he would like to, and then he would like to have it. And then when the African president was on, he tried to make a fool of that man.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He ambushes everyone, especially when it comes to black people. He tried to take in. He took Martin Luther King bus. Who wouldn't like Martin Luther King? Even if a white person might say, well, you know what? He's good to keep the races together and keep them Negroes down. But even Trump don't even want down Martin Luther King in the White House. So you definitely know how racist he is. And the point is, now, he could be racist however he wants. But if he collecting tax dollars off of the 40+ million blacks in America and doing whatever the hell he wants, then that's a different type of question,
That's right. And Jed, look how much he paid for that little BS parade.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
all these millions of dollars, that could have gone to the where it should be, to Social Security, to the VA people. But no, they want to like take everything from you.
Yeah, he is a clown because he clowned himself with that parade. It looked like some kind of little fairy tale parade. While when the North Koreans march, they march with a purpose. Or the Russians march, they march with a purpose. But he couldn't even get it together. So he was sitting down there, according to the press, he looked like he was crying.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Virgin.
Yes. Thank you so much, my sister.
All right. Okay.
All right. Bye-bye. There you go, people. We just wrapped up another edition of Real Talk TV. Hope to see you on tomorrow on the Open Line Radio Show on 88.3 FM. Go to KIEEFM.com, download the app. Also, you want to listen to this show and Brother Darrell Muhammad show, please check us out every first and third Tuesday of the month at 9:30 to 11:30 on this channel. So we're going to get ready to sign off, and we really appreciate you listening and looking. Check us out on tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have some more great information on Real Talk TV.